So welcome back to Sorare Wakey Academy. We've been looking at the best bargain basement buys. Yesterday we did defenders, and today we're going to be looking at the midfielders. There's some great bargain shouts in here, so many in fact that I couldn't fit them all in, but you can see them all on the soraredata watch list. If you go onto that, there'll be a description at the bottom, a link to my watch list at the bottom in the description on the video, and you can click on that and have a look at them, but you won't be able to access that until we've done all this series, because all the watch list basically has all the defenders, the attackers, midfielders and goalkeepers on it, so I don't want you to see them all now and give away what's going to come in the next video. We're also going to be doing another giveaway today, because we hit that massive 400 subscribers, so thank you all for getting there so quickly. Didn't expect it to go that quick, but it has. So stay watching and we'll do the giveaway or somewhere towards the end of the video. And obviously you'll have to see what I want you to do to be able to enter for that giveaway. Now we're looking at our first player, and this is Tobias Kemp from Darmstadt in the Bundesliga 2 in Germany. Now you might say he's expensive because at the moment his floor price is 40. I mean, yesterday it was £20 odd, so it's jumped up to 40 at the moment then. He's still cheap for what he is. He's still cheap, so he's still a bargain. He's 33 years old though. I think Darmstadt are top of the league. We'll have a quick click on them to see where they are. I'm sure they're top of the league. There's some great players playing at Darmstadt, and yes, they are. They're way above at the moment, and they're 2 points clear of Hamburg. 1-10 drawn, 6 lost 1. So Tobias Kemp is with them. Now, his last 5 of 46 is quite low, which means he's either been off form, hasn't played well, or something's happened, but it's quite low for what he normally is, because his last 15 and his last 40 games then, he's been at a score of 60. So his form's gone down slightly, which is a good time to buy him. That's what I'm saying, it's a really good time to get him. If we have a look at his price graph then, you'll see he's gone up just slightly there, but looking overall on his let's look at the last 6 months then, you see he's come right down. So he was over £100 here with one of these sales, but on average, I'd say about the 90 to 100 quid. He's right down now at what, £24 his last sale. So the price has gone really down a lot. He's a central midfielder, normally plays out on the right side of midfield. But let's go back to his club for a second, because I'd like to have a look at this again and point out a few things on here. Let's have a look at his last 40 games then, because it gives us a better reflection of him then. And you'll see him there as a top scorer of a 61 average. He's also second in the all-round averages. Net decisives, he's second. And you'll see here he even meets the top minutes there. He's down in, what, 4th place for the top minutes played. Top goal scorer, he's second. Top assists with 13. Takes penalties, he's hit 4 out of 4, so penalty specialist. And he's also the free kick taker. Only hit 9% or 2 out of 22, which is low for that. But he takes them all. So basically, if he has a good day, he's going to hit a few goals with them free kicks, or at least a few assists. So that's our first player then. And that is Tobias Kemp for Darmstadt in the Bundesliga 2. So our next bargain buy midfielder is going to be Steph Peters at Eupen in the Jupiler Pro League in Belgium. A lot of you that have been on the game for a while will know all about Peters and know why he's on this list, because he is so underrated. He gets massive scores all the time consistently, and he's so cheap. At the moment he's under £20. That's his floor price and his average 3-day average price as well. He's 73rd in the midfielders overall on the whole game. Looking at his price graph, he's a centre midfielder, more an attacking midfielder. But on his price graph, he has dropped down slightly in price from 28 down to 18. So he's never been expensive in that last month. I think if we look at the year one, you might see a bit of difference. But there's not much. You can see up here, maybe £60 when he first came on into the limited game here. But let's have a look at Eupen. Not the best team in the Belgian league by a long way. I'm looking at his overall averages, and he is down as their best player. As you can see, he's got 70 for his last 5 games. That's incredible. That's just below the Messi's, isn't it? He's got 61 for his last 15 and a 53 for his last 40 games. But really coming to form again now. And his last 40 we'll have a look at here. He's a top SL5 scorer. He's second in the all-round averages, second in the net decisives. He is top in minutes played. He's played the most out of the whole team. Top goal scorers, he's in 3rd place there, and he's also top assists, he is top. Penalty kicks, 100%, 3 out of 3 so far. And free kick takers, again, another 9%, 1 out of 11 so far. Takes free kicks, free kick assists, that is, and free kick scorers, that one is. Maybe got that wrong on the last player, but that's scorers and assists. And then corner takers, 132 corners. He's the corner taker, so he takes everything. Everything goes through him. Eupen in a bad position at the moment, but this guy plays in this midfield, sometimes just further forward slightly. But massive player for Eupen and big bargain for us to get hold of. Steph Peters at Eupen. So again, so in the top 3, Anto Grigic of Sion in the Swiss Super League. Another one that if you've been on the game for a while, you will know this man. This was a cheat code for quite a while in Grigic, but his price now, you see down there, his floor price, his average 3-day average, £13.37. This guy was up at like £70, £80 for a while. At the moment, he's a 400 best midfielder, but just wait till this guy hits form. You'll see down on his price graph then, just click off my player there, but you see his price graph here, he was up at 35, he's back down. This is probably the lowest he's been at the moment, and £13. He could have gotten for like maybe £8 a few weeks back, I think it was. But I've got hold of him again because I think he's going to go back up again. We'll have a look at his team. He's a midfielder, centre midfielder. But I want to have a look at his team stats then. Remember this name because he can go on a massive streak at the moment. Now, we've got Balotelli at this team as well, who joined them this season. A couple of players that they've had bring in, like William Cyprian as well. So they're looking a little bit better than what they were last year, but still struggling slightly. Looking at Grigic, we'll have a look at the last 40 games then, because he's top on everything again. I've just scrolled down it and you can see the average is there. He's top. He's either top or second, I think, on most of these. Minutes played, top. Decisives. Top goal scorer is not the top, but he's joint second on that list, and then top assists as well with 6. Penalty kicks, another one. He's scored 5 out of 6 on penalties. Free kick scorers, he's hit 1 of 4, but he's on free kicks as well. He's also got 4 out of 15 assists from free kicks, and he's also on the corners as well. So Grigic, there seems to be a pattern here that all the top players are the ones obviously that are on the free kicks and the corners, set pieces and everything, but they're also probably the best players within these poor teams. Looking at Aguinero, 7-2, didn't have a great game, and looks like he was substituted at half time. But you've got to hit him on that good form, because when he hits form, he's hitting massive scores. Let's have a look at SO5 scores for a second. And you'll see what I mean here. I'll even go back further. Let's have a look at overall. You can see his overall scores there. He's hit hundreds before, 90s, quite often in the 70s. And going down his list here, just recently he's not been at his best. But there's a time down here when he was absolutely banging them in. Look at the points coming in here. 90s and 60s. One of the best players I'd say on the game at this price. He's got to be one of the best bargains with the other two as well that we've mentioned. So that's our next player, Anto Grigic of Sion. So we move on around the globe when we come to Japan with Vissel Kobe. Now, Hataro Yamaguchi, again, might be known to a few players on here, plays for Vissel Kobe in the J League. When Vissel Kobe were winning everything and were top of the league or second, they were fantastic. They had a great team that was all set out. Everyone knew the positions. They've gone slightly down this year. They were nearly relegated, in fact, this season. Picked up again, and they're still continuing now, I think, to pick up quite well. So coming into this season now, they should do all right. So it looks like Yamaguchi's staying in that midfield, possibly alongside Iniesta. We don't know what's happening with him at the moment. But he is a sort of defensive holding type of player, but very consistent. You'll see here 100% of the games, 51, 54, 55 for his game. Midfielder. Price £7 and £7.94 for his floor price. Now, put on here the last year. Now, I did buy one back here when he was £31 and I sold him at £43. But his price has gone down since then because obviously the limited cards have gone down in price. But you get them for like £7. It's crazy money because if Vissel have a good season again and they go up like I'm expecting them to, his price should rocket again. Looking at his scores, I'll show you his scores. And we'll look at all his scores because he's very, very consistent, I think. You see there's hardly any oranges. 2 oranges in that. A couple of yellows, but they're all greens. Look at these 90s and 93s. He just sits there and gets good all-round scores normally. Not been on his best form recently, but as we look down, you see he's playing in every single game that he can do, unless he's injured. and he gets big scores. So Yamaguchi, great player, but let's have a look at Vissel Kobe. As I said, poor season last year. We'll go to his 40 so we can see what he has done. And he's not top, and Kikuchi's top. Kikuchi, a well-known player to people, defence-wise. But, yeah, he's in and around that top scores again, isn't he? Doesn't score that many decisive actions, but he's hit 7 there. Top player, 3-4-8-2, or second, sorry, to Sakai in the team. And he's basically everywhere again. I'm not sure he takes set pieces. No, he's got top assists. He's second for the assists. No penalty kicks, doesn't take penalties. But again, yeah, overall he's decent. He's not in the bottomless there either. So he's not a big decisive getter, but he does rack up the points in quite well. So that is our next player then. And that is Hotaru Yamaguchi from the J-League with Vissel Kobe. So back into Europe and over to the Netherlands this time, where we're watching Lasse Schön, and he plays for NEC, or Nijmegen, in the Eredivisie in Holland, Netherlands. Pretty old, 36, but lots of experience. Was a Danish international. I'm not sure if he still is at the moment, but his last 5 years, 62, last 15, 59. Plays in that midfield position. Price-wise, £6.58 for his floor price. That's the most you'll pay for him today. I put down here his prices of the last year, and you see he's had a few peaks and troughs. He's back down in the troughs at the moment. So, you're going to get him around the sort of £8, £6 maximum at the moment, but he sort of rises up to £8. Hopefully he'll fly soon. We know he's a midfielder because we're looking at midfielders. Let's have a look at his scores, his SO5 scores then. And I'll do that for the last year. Because again, I'm sure he's quite consistent again. And you'll see here, yeah, it looked like he was injured for quite a while, didn't play for a bit. And then he's hit a few 70s. Let's go to the last 1 year, so we can get rid of some of the, that's it, that's better. So we can see on there then he's hitting good average scores for his price, and it's even, he can hit the 70s, he's even hit 100 recently. Looking down his team, central midfielder, sometimes defensive midfielder, so he doesn't get a lot of goals so much. He's always involved in it, he's always a pass before the goal, before the assist. So, pretty decent player in that. We'll have a look at how NEC are doing at the moment in the league. I think they're about mid-table. And yeah, so they're in 9th place there. Drawn 8 of the games, could quite easily turn them into wins. But having a look at the last 40 games then, we'll see again, Sean is sort of dominating a lot of this. 54 up there. Coming down, decisive actions, doesn't get many, but he's hit 5. And you'll see the top minutes played again, he's up there with the top. In the top 2. Top goal scorers, he's down there with 2 goals, but he's still on that list. And assists, but you'll also see here, he doesn't take penalties, but he does take free kicks and corners as well. You see in this game here, I think the one, was it 6-1 against Volwijk? Volwijk are quite a good defensive side. Sean got 71 in that game. So decent player. That's my next man, Lasse Schön, for £6 for NEC. So we're over to the MLS for the next player, and we have got Darlington Nagbe, great name, plays for Columbus Crew in the MLS. Last year he did really well. He was a good player for trying to hit them threshold teams. You'll see he's now £5.74 for his floor price on his 3-day average. Looking at his price graph in total, you see he was up here at like the 65, 60 pound sort of mark. Went down as all the prices came down again. I managed to get one there for how much? £8. It's even lower than that at the moment. So Darlington would be a really cheap player to be getting. Plays in midfield, more of a defensive midfield sort of holding role, as far as I'm aware. If it's different to that, comment below. Have a look at his SO5 scores. And we're going to go to the full-time overall scores as well. See here, even on this bar chart, you can see how good he's been playing. Quite often hits 90s and 80s, in the 70s there, but he also quite often hits a few 40s and that if they're not got a decent fixture to play in. Looking at his last few games there, didn't do well. But as you move down, he was always hitting these points, and that's why I had him in the threshold team for my rare team once. So, good player. Let's have a look at Columbus Crew. It won't show any league table because obviously the season hasn't started and it's wiped last year's results and that as well. On his last 40 games, Nagbe again at the top or second on this list. You'll see his name appearing all over there. Top minutes played, Nagbe. What he doesn't do is score a lot of goals. He has got 3 here, but not really. 3 assists and 3 goals. Doesn't take any set pieces or anything. not on them list for that. And he sort of sits in this team, like I say. He did have Arthur next to him. He's gone to Liverpool, but he sort of does well without standing out in this team. That's what we should say. So that's Columbus Crew player Darlington Nagbe. So we'll move across to Turkey now, and we're looking at Pedrino. He's a 30-year-old playing at Yamaguchi in the Total League in Turkey. He's £4.80, so very good. Plays in midfield, sort of left-hand side of midfield. Price graph, just to see his price graph, he's dropped down from like £35-40 all the way down to what he is now at just under £5. Now, looking at his scores, I think he's got decent scores in him. He's not playing at his best at the moment, but I think he's got good scores in him. Now, you'll see that the better scores were when he played for his last club, and he's hit a couple of hundreds there, 90s, 80s. But that was at his last club at Gil Vicente over in Portugal, I believe. And I'm looking down here. Yeah, so it ends here. That was his last game there. Then he moved over to Turkey, and he hasn't really hit the ground running, has he? But when you look at his last scores here, at Gil Vicente, not the best side in Portugal, and he's getting some massive scores, lots of assists and things. This guy could be really good again if he just finds his feet in this league. We'll have a look where they are in the table. Let's see if we can show it on this one. Yeah, they're struggling at the moment. Then, out of the 16 games they've played, they've only won 4 of them. But I don't think it'll show his last 40 on here, so he won't go up very well against his last 40s. His last 15, not been great for them. Not really on any of these lists, but as I say, the reason I picked him is because of his potential that he's got, and his corner takers. He's hit 9 corners. Free kicks, he's taken 1. But I think he will be a real big asset for them, and at the moment at this price, a real bargain and a gem to get at £4.80 before he really hits off and takes his career a little bit further towards the end of his career, if you see what I mean. He's now 30 already. Next player we look at then, Pablo Di Blasis, who plays at Catania, who are over in La Liga Smartbank, 2nd division in Spain. Another one who's just under £5, £4.91. Last 5 averages not great, 42, but his last 40s he's been hitting 55s, and he plays a central attacking midfield role. I want to just show you his price for a second. Let's go to his price, sorry. So I want to show you his price, and you'll see here, we'll go to like the last 6 months or so, and it's come right down. So he was a bit of a talent, I think, going to them. I don't know if he's had a really bad game recently or something, and his price has just plummeted. But we'll have a look at his scores. And I don't want to really rush through these players, but pause the screen if you need to. 39 games, 4 goals, 8 assists. But look at his overall scores then, because he's better than that's suggesting. You see he's hit 100 just recently as well, but then he's been in this sort of average form down here. But look at these scores that he can hit for under £5. You know, again, that's really good value, I think. And he's played central midfield, central attack. He's played as a striker, so he plays all over the place. 2 assists there and gets 100. But look at his scores down here then. Having really good games down here, all dark greens. Can be a hit of a player, I think. Now looking at his team, let's go and have a look at it. And I can't pronounce this properly. Is it Cartagena? Not sure. But Placis then sits on that sort of left-hand side of the midfield. Let's have a look at his last 40 games. And we'll see, yeah, he's top again on the all-round averages there. Net decisives, he's up there with 13. Game minutes played, he's quite close to top. Top assists with 7. So again, another player that people probably don't even, or have not heard of before. He takes corners, free kicks, hasn't took penalties yet, but it might come, you never know. But they're in 9th place, doing quite well in that division, to be honest. Didn't expect them to get into 9th. They're doing well, and that's my next player then, who could be an absolute superstar if he just hits that form again, Pablo Di Blasis. And we move over to Belgium to look at our penultimate player. We are looking at Christian Bruls. Good average scores here, 52 and 55 for his last 40. Another midfielder who sits in the centre of midfield at £3.97. So this is like really getting low now for price-wise. You'll see on his prices here in the last 6 months, just alone 6 months, his price has come right down, up at £30, all the way down to what you're getting now, under a £5. So real good value for this player. Looking at his scores then, remember £5 or under, and these are his scores. We'll look at them all, because he's pretty good in total for a lot of his last games then. He's hit 100, a couple of hundreds there, a couple of 90s, the 70s. Been off the boil slightly, and he's been dropped to sub a few times as well. But in that midfield, he normally plays, and if you look down here now, you see all the blues coming down here now. He played nearly every single game. Scores were okay. There was one stage where he went through where he was just unstoppable. Always scoring, always assisting. Great player, Christian Bruls, and for under £5, you're getting this type of player. Let's just have a look at St. Truden, who are in the Jupiler League in Belgium. And I'll go to his last 40. You see he's top of the averages again there. Slightly down his all-round average, down at 12. Net decisives, 15 net decisives. I'm pretty high up on the minutes played as well. Top assists. Third in the goal scorers. Does take penalties. He's hit 5 out of 6 on the penalties. Does take free kicks. And also, is he on corners? He's not on corners. Yes, he is on corners. 135. So he's on corners. So all set pieces again. St. Truden in 8th place at the moment. Quite a good defensive side again, aren't they? Yeah, scored only 20, so they don't score a lot. But only conceded 20. So that's pretty decent then. So that's my next player, Christian Bruls. And I think you might have to check this out and research it, but I think he's just got to move somewhere or possibly link with somebody. So go and have a look at that. So our final player, and probably one of my favourite players, and I've held him quite a few times. This is Enzo Perez, who plays for River Plate in Argentina, South America. He's just gone above £3 now on his floor price, but his 3-day average £2.98. So this is under £3, defensive midfielder. Let's have a look at his price graph, how it's gone over the last year or so. Or let's go 6 months. Let's have a look in 6 months. Maybe a year's better to look at. And you'll see on here, I've had him a couple of times, bought and sold at profit all the time. But he's even below that price now. So he's down, like I say, under £3. Good time to get him. Plays, I think, nearly every game. He was the captain at one time. I don't know if he still is. So have a look at his all-time scores and his SL5 scores. You see here he's hitting a lot of 70s then. Most of this was when he was in a good team, when they had decent players like Julian Alvarez, Enzo Fernandez. So he might have suffered recently, but he's hit 2 good scores a game there. Always seems to play central defensive midfield. Had a few games out, but he's normally in this side then. I'm sure he's still captain. But good scores all along there. Now we won't see, when he plays for River Plate, we won't see the league again because it hasn't started yet. It's about to restart again. And looking at the last 40, it's probably around these top sort of scores. You'll see there Enzo Perez 19 for his all-round average. That's pretty decent. 53. He's a really cheap player. So he's on a lot of these lists, as you can see then. And for the price that you're paying for him, I think it's really worth it. You see his free kicks, he does take 1 or 2 now and again, but not all the time. So that's what's holding his score back slightly. But great player, always in this team, always doing well. So that is my last player, Enzo Perez. He'll surprise you. You can get him and he'll hit a 70 or 80 or something in the first few games and you'll just fall in love with this guy. But that's my last player, Enzo Perez from River Plate over in Argentina. So competition time then. What I want you to do is, out of the players that I've just shown you, this is my watch list. There's loads of players on this watch list and you'll get to have access to this when I've done the forwards and the goalkeepers. But there's loads of players on my midfield list here, right the way down there, down to 94p there for Jager. But what I want you to do is, to win this competition then, which is my 400 subs giveaway, I want you to look down this list now. So I'll scroll down it slowly. You can pause the video if you need to. But I'm going to ask you to go with £20 only. And we'll go off the valuation price. So you've got £20. And I want you to go down this list and pick who you would get for £20 and put it in the comments below. So put your manager name as always, your Sorare manager name down below in the comments, and then tell me which 1 player or 2 players or 3 players even you would buy with that money, and tell me why you would buy them. Because what we'll do is I'll go for the best answer, the best players and the best answer that you give me, and they will win one of my rewards from my giveaway squad again then. And so just have a look at them quickly. So there's them, and there's all the ones that I've just been through on the video itself as well, so you can see the prices. This valuation may change, but we'll go off the video valuation at the moment. So obviously you can't get Tobias Kemp because he's £21, and you can't get Steph Peters, he's 20. So go down the video, go down these players, put down below in the comments your manager name and the players you would buy with only £20 available to you, and tell me why you would get them. The best answer will win the reward, and that will come from my gallery. So we'll go to my gallery again, we'll go down to my squads, and we'll go to the giveaway squad in here. You will get to choose one of these 4 players at the moment and decide which one you want. So all the best, make sure you comment, make sure you've got your manager's name on there, make sure you subscribe also, and hit that like button. It really helps this channel so we can keep doing giveaways. The next giveaway after this one will be at 500, and the player might go up slightly in value and will be a bit better than the ones you've got at the moment. So thank you for watching that, take care, and we'll see you on the forwards video.